All right. Good morning. It's October 16th. This is the North Wacom Fire District 21 regular Board of Commissioners meeting. I'll call to order at 10:30 and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Bruce Ansel.
Sean Crawford.
Kimberly McMurray.
Matt Rickburn.
Greg Anthony.
Tony Melillo.
All right.
Ralston.
Dave Ralston's here. Thank you. Any public comment? All right, we'll open the Volunteer Pension Board meeting and we have the approval of the September 18th minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Chief, any other things for the Volunteer Pension Board? All right, with that, I will move to adjourn the Volunteer Pension Board meeting. Which requires a second.
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll close the meeting. It's moving right along.
That never happened with.
And I will open the regular Board of Commissioners meeting with the approval of the consent agenda being the first item, which includes the meeting minutes of September 17th, which was the budget study session, the regular meeting on September 18th, staff reports, financial reports, voucher payroll and benefits. The total revenue from September was $235,969.56. The total expenditures for October was $1,062,724.56. Payroll, $440,836.85. Payroll taxes, $101,359.84. Benefits voucher, $272,125.61. L&I third quarter voucher, $133,177.59. Monthly expenditure voucher, $103,446.17. Capital projects, $11,778.50. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion, questions, comments?
I would just like to say thank you to Jessica for all the detailed records and the excellent job she's doing and all the info in our packet.
All right, anyone else? I know the chief's not here, Chief, but is there anything on the Whatcom County Fire District study that is, I mean, what, have you heard anything? Did the council like it, not like it? Are they going to do anything about it?
Most of what I've heard is secondhand, and that there was a lot of negative commentary from the county executive about how the fire districts are running their business and how the fire departments could be run better. But again, that's secondhand information that I've heard.
He does understand that we're separate taxing districts with separate legislative, I don't know, responsibilities.
I would hope so.
He understands. He's been told.
All right. Okay. Anyone else? All in favor of the consent agenda?
Aye.
Thank you. It's unanimous. Commissioner meeting reports.
This is Craig. I don't have anything today.
Nothing? Okay.
I've been in talks with the Nooksack tribe about some fleet acquisition vehicles. Those talks are ongoing due to the federal government being shut down. It's been tabled at this point. We'll resume after the government does a restart. Some of those talks led into other talks that Commissioner McMurray can talk about. She had some talks with them as well. So.
Yes,
I did talk with their emergency management funding person, and he requested more information, so I complied with that, and we're hoping to set up a meeting and talk more about the grant money and resources that they have available for our emergency services.
Anything from you, sir?
Yeah, just had that lengthy meeting with Kathleen Stauffer about helping the community get more engaged with the next potential levy lid lift. She understands that we have struggles getting people engaged in voting on the eastern side of our district. So she says she's very well connected. After the conversation, I forwarded on that information to the chief, and hopefully we'll be able to get some traction with that because she's extraordinarily well connected.
Very good. And I know that she had at one time run for a position on this
Correct.
board.
Correct. So she is interested.
Yeah, right. And in fact, I believe I talked to her son one time who was potentially interested in running for an open position on the board, and he had some life changes, I think, and it was a little too much for him to take on. So they're both.
Yeah, they're both engaged. And she
understanding.
actually mentioned him as being somebody that could help get
Yeah.
involved as well.
All right. Well,
What's her name?
Kathleen Stauffer.
she's a real estate agent
Oh, right.
for
That's right.
Windermere, I believe.
That's right.
Yep, she's a broker agent.
All right, let's see. I have been following the Birch Bay Community Advisory Committee. I don't know if you, well, actually, Matt, you forwarded me the article
I did, yeah.
about Blaine withdrawing their proposal to do the UGA takeover, is what I'm going to call, until after the ballot measure in November, which they have to de-annex the area that they're wanting to give up before they can move forward with the potential annexation or request to expand their UGA into the Birch Point area. And they were moving forward real quickly without having any discussions with Birch Bay community, the county, planning, anyone, which by statute, I said, it requires them to have those meetings and discussions. So bottom line, it's on hold right now. I expect that it'll come up again. I personally don't know how they're going to fund it. I worry that the tax increment financing might be on the table if and when they decide to try to develop that probably upwards of $30 million sewer system and dump all their traffic onto the county roads, et cetera, et cetera. It is interesting how the taxing and pay for services goes. Once the city takes over an area, then they're no longer responsible for anything with the county. So like right now, the county provides the road service and all that stuff in there. Once the city takes that over, I believe that they're not on the hook for any of the impacts downstream, right? They have their own stormwater system, so they don't have to play that game. They have their own road, they don't have to play that game. And so they can go into an area and develop and create all this excess need for services and aren't on the hook for it other than the initial impact fee, which typically runs to about $1,000 a residence, which is one-time money, which, as we know with our mitigation fund, it really doesn't pay for anything and it's really limited as to what you can use it for. So anyway, I'll keep following that. And then we've been in contract negotiations, and Chief Ralston will provide an update for us in executive session on where we are with that. I think it personally has gone very well and positive, and there's been some give and takes and understandings, and I think we're heading in the right direction.
Bruce, may I add a point or ask a question?
Sure.
several months ago, I was talking to the fire chief about uh, the UGA over in the Simiyamu area. And he relayed that he was at a meeting with a planning official, don't know if it was county or city. And he said the official was surprised to find out that a portion of the proposed UGA is essentially unprotected. It's not a 5. And I don't know what requirements there are in the UGA process to have whatever defined as adequate fire protection is, but it's just something I'm keeping track of.
Yeah, and everything I've read on what the city has proposed, nowhere in any of their points of interest is public safety mentioned, neither police or fire. So it's not even, in my opinion, on their radar as an issue for anything. It's not on their top 10 lists of what do we do about this.
Now, doesn't the county play a role in approving UGA, or is it just
Oh, yeah.
simply a vote of the people?
No, well, it's up to the county to allow them to do it. This is partially why the process has slowed and stopped currently, is because Whatcom County Planning has input. The community is supposed to have input. Ironically, Whatcom County removed that UGA area from the Birch Bay community years ago because of concerns about aquifer and runoff and whether that capacity for development was actually needed. When you do that growth management act stuff and planning, you have to, in order to take over more property, you have to demonstrate that that property is going to be needed for your community. Like if Blaine has enough property now, if they were to develop it to handle their population growth, then the county would probably say no to expanding their UGA because they don't need it. But there's all kinds of moving parts. And I know that the committee that I'm on, the Birch Bay Community Advisory Committee, which was an appointment from the county to communicate with them, as well as the Birch Bay Incorporation Committee, have been pretty much hounding the county and the city with information and documentation as to why this is not a good move.
Well, it's kind of interesting that I guess through the county process will be an opportunity for uh, police and fire to be addressed, since we haven't seen anything yet. It's kind of also interesting to think about if it were to go to the city and they get kind of tasked with, well, what are you going to do with police and fire? At the same time, you flip the coin over and you go, well, what's the county doing about fire then? So it's an issue that I'll be interested to see how it plays out. Thanks.
Bet. Local 106, anything?
Getting into the holiday season, so lots of events coming up. I know one of you donated a bunch of pumpkins.
That'll be done tonight, correct?
We have that pumpkin party this Saturday. You'll see some of the shifts have already completed their pumpkins for the competition. We await your votes on whose is best. Angela Smith has been putting in a lot of work on planning that, so thank you to her for that. We will be participating with the department in Trick or Treat on the Berm on October 25th. So we'll have candy, we'll have set up for that going on. Mike Nelson is working on the turkey basket give outs. He's already started compiling those and getting ready for that. So we'll have more information on volunteering with that forthcoming. And then we are also currently fundraising for the Coats for Kids. Last year, we were able to do 2 entire elementary schools worth of parkas for the students there. And then we still had some left over to donate to other schools in the area. And so we're hoping to fundraise a bunch of money to buy coats for kids who can't afford them again this year. So any donations that people would like to do for that can go to the local 106 Benevolent Fund. And then we will be starting fundraising for the stair climb pretty soon. I've been in discussion with several local businesses about letting us fundraise out front there. So you might see us on Saturdays and Sundays. Last year, we were able to fundraise about $5,000 for blood cancer research and treatment. We're hoping we can do even more this year.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Comment, please, Bruce.
Yes.
I've resisted getting on Facebook for years. My daughter finally demanded it. One of the real joys of being on Facebook now is the discovery of the fire district's page. I cannot believe what I found there over the last month or two. The work of the crews. I believe Kelly's in the chief's role in managing it. Extremely proud to be associated with the crews in the district. What an outstanding job they've been doing on Facebook, and I'd missed out on it. So thanks.
All right. And you know, just coming up to the station today, I know that there was a mention somewhere about the landscaping and on the chief's report. Yeah, thanks to the crews and everyone who spearheaded that project. The station outside grounds look wonderful. If you would pass that message along from us, I would appreciate that. But what a great improvement.
Yes.
I'm still thinking about bringing my paintbrush and painting that thing.
That'll help. Yeah, he's a good thinker.
Yeah, anyway.
I know there was many people that were involved in that project, but Delaney out of this station is going to be getting a commendation in her file for the
Nice.
work that she did.
Excellent. Fire marshal is not here. Was there anything that you know of that was needed to be brought up? Okay. And then we'll move on to unfinished business, which is the Station 63, and Chief Ralston's here to update us on that process.
Thank you. We've completed the surveys of the interior and exterior. Those CAD files have been submitted into Carletti. Carletti now has been working. We just got a notification this week trying to set up a meeting with some of the subcontractors that he's got in place at Station 63. A meeting next week or in the next couple of weeks to actually go on site with their subs and start the process up. It did receive, just as a reminder, what they're typically planning to do. We're looking at 3 phases essentially. Remodel within the existing structure, which is a complete demolition of the interior finishes and remodel within internal of that, looking at perhaps moving some things around in the training room, the admin room. That's option 1. Option 2 was demolishing the whole front of the building and redoing that to improve the existing crew quarters. There was also an option 3 of demolishing the whole facility and start from scratch. So they've been, we're going to go on site, and obviously part of their projections too is to provide a cost estimates for each of those and whatever we would be able to work with on that. So that process is now getting started. So we, I hope to have a report. I don't know if we'll have a report ready by November, but maybe by December we should start to have some input from these contractors that are working with Carletti, and ultimately we've got some internal tasks now to do. We've had some requests of specifics within the station of what we'd like to see. And so we've got to give some input back to Carletti to help them start a plan in place too for that. This will take a little bit of time. And then of course, ultimately, we want to come up with an idea what the best fit and the cost estimate that could possibly be. And that's essentially what the feasibility fee study is about. And that's what we're going to be doing here. So it's in play. I don't know. We probably saw some costs associated that within our expense report this month for the Northwest survey, and then 2D design. And then we'll probably start to see some Carletti associated costs for their development of that too as we start to move forward on a monthly basis.
So a question I have is, one of the things that we had talked about on doing a complete tear down and a rebuild was the concern that new state and county regulations would preclude us from doing that based on drainage requirements, et cetera, and that the option there would then be to sell that property and look elsewhere. Is that off the table completely?
To be honest with you, I haven't really heard that discussion given to me yet.
That was a ways
about
back.
that.
It was a ways back.
I think that the ground studies and the surveys and all that is going to lead to an answer to that question.
Okay.
So I know that they did the as-built of the station. They they're looking for all of the utilities and storm drains and all of that. So I think once Carletti, now that he has all of that information, they can move forward with analyzing whether or not we can do it or not. Cool. I suspect we will be able to, but I mean, that's a huge lot. There's a lot of area that hasn't been tapped out in the backside there and on both sides of the station, as well as even out front. So I think there's a lot of room to play, but you never know. When you're dealing with the county, right?
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions about 63? Okay. New business, we have a resolution 2025-4 to encourage Whatcom County Council to utilize the full bank capacity for the EMS levy. And let's find that resolution. And I don't know, Chief, if you want to talk to this or.
Sure. So the history that I know with the levy and with the EMS levy and where we're at right now is the TAB and the EOB came together and said, this is the budget amount that we think that we need to pass. Same thing that this commissioner board would do for levy. They set a number to that levy. I can't remember exactly what the cents was, 26 and a half or something.
It was 29.
And so when that was set, it was passed. Sometime leading up to that, there was some saber rattling, I'll call it, that we're taking too much. And it was determined that we should take less. Well, the number passed at 29. When you get to the other side, you can claim the actual dollars amounts to come into the EMS levy. And somewhere it went to that saber rattling number, not the 29 cents that was passed. What's interesting about that number is the exact amount that the EMS levy will be short by the end of its life is almost to the dollar what we're missing because we didn't take the original 29 cents. So I find it a little bit coincidental that those numbers match up so well. The challenge now, especially in the economy and whatever else you want to look at, is the county council can take the banked capacity. The downstream effect of not taking the bank capacity concerns all of us because we don't know if that means that Medic 75 goes away or there's a reduction in service. And really, the frustration, I think, from everybody that's involved, I don't want to speak for the local, but when I was working with the local on this topic, working with South Wacom, I mean, everybody that I've heard of is frustrated because the taxpayers passed at 29 cents. They wanted to see an increase in service. They got the increase in service a little bit late, but it's there. And now we're talking about possibly reducing those services, or what is the effect that will happen. So this resolution is asking for us to join on with our own letter in partnership with a bunch of other organizations that are signing on to ask the county council take the bank to capacity.
I believe this was driven by the Whatcom County Fire Commissioners Association and the fire chiefs. And so these other organizations happen to be all the fire districts within Whatcom County that are saying, yeah, you need to fully fund the levy.
I've been told that District 1, 14, 7, and South Wacom are all considering or are signed on.
So we've had this in our packet. It's a resolution encouraging the Whatcom County Council to utilize the full bank capacity for the countywide EMS levy to ensure sustainable and equitable funding for emergency medical services. And I assume that then once, if approved, we would send this off to the county. Is that?
That's my understanding, yeah.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-4?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion, questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you for bringing that forward. Any other new business? We have correspondence. The article from the Linden Tribune was very interesting with Cody. Quite a story he has. I've been wanting to ask him about his experience since he got hired here, and that pretty much answered most of my questions. In one of these documents, I think from the auditor, something was struck out. Jenny, was that a strikeout on our behalf, or was that a strikeout on the auditors? It's like in purple or something, or,
I'm sure it wasn't just highlighted.
well, if it was highlighted, it didn't copy that way. Trying to remember where it was, but anyway. I wasn't sure if it was like some super secret confidential information that we weren't supposed to know, if it was a mistake, or if it was a highlight, but I'll find it later. All right, next meeting is the 20th of November. Is everyone available for that?
Yes.
If I am out of town, I will be on Zoom for that. Everybody else okay?
I'm good.
And then I know this is under announcements, I'm not sure exactly why, but the 1% increase in the levy certification, that would just be agenda items for the next meeting.
Yeah, that was just to let you know that why we were having the public hearing.
Yeah, the 11/20 meeting is noted as a public hearing.
Got it. All right. And that is something we do every year, certify the levy and approve the 1% that we're allowed to take. Next meeting, no man's land, an update. I don't know. It sounds like right now there hasn't been any movement or anything new in that area. I still think that we should require, demand, ask, plead with the county to reimburse us for that amount, since they're the ones that did not charge those people for our services. And my understanding would be that, I know it would be hard, but they would have to go back and reallocate the taxes to everyone else in the district to cover that area that wasn't paid for, right? I mean, let's say it was $100 to cover the whole district, and we chopped out 5 cents, so we only got 95 cents. That other 5 cents has to be charged to the rest of the people who received the services. And I think that's on the county. So I don't know how hard it would be to do that, but I'd be interested in asking our attorney to write a letter and demand that the county pay us back.
Also wonder about what the consequence of that would be for public perception, but that's something to discuss in another meeting.
I mean, it's gonna cost you about a nickel.
Understood, but at the same time, just with the push for levy lid lifts, it's a conversation for another.
Yep, understood.
Just one point on that. Having worked at government on a lot of different levels, there's also a chance you're going to ask the county to do that, to lean on them a bit. And they go, sure, we can do it. We just go ahead and charge it back, whatever administrative costs it costs us to develop that for you. So got to make sure we don't cut off our nose to spite our face.
Yep, understood. I just want them to understand that it was their error, not ours. We have overtime on this. Is that just that we're following that?
That was from something I had brought up in your absence. Was,
Okay.
Wanting to discuss potentially having to restrict overtime and what it looks like on budget, downstream, and just concerns that we have with staffing.
Okay. And my understanding is right now we're trending just slightly below our projected overtime budget this year, which is nice for a change because we've always trended above that number. So.
Yeah, the next numbers I think will help. I don't know where the fire chief's comfort level is in calling it a true trend yet, but we're seeing about the last 3 months that we're using less than we have in years past, which may be an indication that we're at a good staffing level, maybe an indication of less use, but we want to see it another month or two, especially coming off the heels of the biggest leave time that we typically have. And if you look at the chart of the use of overtime, those summer months are when we see the spike, right? And we're actually seeing it. It's still high, but I want to say there was maybe $35,000 ahead in 2 months, which over $1.6 million budget. I know that's why we're not quite calling it a trend, but it is very encouraging to see.
Let's not lose the point that 1.6 was all taken out of reserve. So if we save $100,000, that means we only took $1.5 million out of reserves. So I commend the efforts on managing the overtime, but it's not that we're going to wake up in 1 or 2 months and go, hey, we don't need to do a levy. Everything's good. Now, this was an issue that was brought up by Matt that I think is very important. And the only reason I leaned into it a bit at the last meeting was to have an opportunity for both the chief and I to be in person to partake in the discussion. So I look forward to this coming up on the next agenda. Over.
Good. Yeah, we're $11,800 under our projections right now. All right, agenda next time, okay, so we'll have the public hearing, obviously. And then I'm assuming this might be something to do with you, Commissioner Anthony, about the regarding performance goals in the annual report. The
This,
resolution 2011-14.
if, the chief and I talked, then, it's gonna come, he's gonna bring forward in a simple table, what the response times are as outlined in 2011-14, how we're doing on the test. And that'll bring closure to the issue, I'm sure.
Okay. And then I'm assuming we'll leave station 63 on there. Anything else anyone wants for next month? Well, we'll have the budget stuff then, so. Next is an executive session per RCW 42.30.140 subsection 4 subsection A. And it is basically for a collective bargaining update. Chief Ralston is here. We're still in contract negotiations with the local, and I would expect there will not be any action after the executive session. Our last item would be signing of documents. So this is an update for the board at this point, and I am going to say we'll go 20 minutes. So it's 10 after now, and we'll go till 11:30. So we'll stop the executive session, as said before, there is no action after that. And our next item is to sign documents and adjourn the meeting. So does anyone else have anything before we move to adjourn? Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Chief, you can sign documents whenever you get back to town. Which is when? You're muted.
Oh, you got him muted.
How do you do this one? Oh, you did September.
You're muted.
Did I
on
not give
your
you
end, I
October?
think.
I'll be back on Monday and call Jenny and make arrangements to go over Monday or Tuesday.
Excellent. Thank you.